She had a meeting in 40 minutes that could close a $30 million deal. She had a driver who hadn't shown up, and she was standing on the curb outside her building in downtown Chicago in 30-degree wind, watching a black sedan pull up, driven by a man she had never seen before in her life. That was how it started. That was how everything started. Not with a plan, not with a decision. Just a Tuesday morning gone sideways, and a stranger behind the wheel who was about to show her something she had spent 20 years successfully avoiding. She just didn't know it yet. Patricia Hale, 51 years old, CEO of Hale & Stern Capital. 17 years building one of the most respected investment firms in the Midwest. She had been married once, to a good man who eventually, quietly, stopped competing with her calendar for her attention and simply left. She had not blamed him. She had also not called him after. That was Patricia. Efficient, precise, forward-moving. She did not look back at things she could not change. She stepped into the sedan without looking at the driver. Wacker to Michigan, then south. Skip Lower Wacker. Construction at the river. I know, he said quietly. I came that way this morning. She looked up, just for a second. Late 30s, but his face held more than late 30s usually contains. Dark circles that weren't from one bad night. A jacket ironed carefully, but not recently. Hands on the wheel, steady, deliberate. The hands of someone who had learned to be careful with things because he knew what it felt like when something broke. She went back to her phone, but she read the same email 3 times, and still didn't absorb a single word. She didn't know his name. She didn't know his story. She didn't know that folded in his jacket pocket was a crayon drawing, a lion wearing a tie, with the words, "You are brave, Daddy," written underneath in crooked, certain letters. She didn't know any of it. Not yet. The Langham meeting ran 43 minutes. She came out with exactly what she went in for. He was at the curb before she reached the sidewalk. Engine running, door already open. She noticed. She didn't say so. 4 blocks north, her phone buzzed. A text from her daughter, Emily. 3 words. Thinking of you today. Today was November 14th, her mother's death anniversary. Emily always remembered. Patricia always pretended she hadn't noticed Emily remembering. She typed back, "Thanks, honey. Busy day. Talk soon." 9 years of talk soon. She put the phone away and looked out at the lake. Steel gray, stripped bare, honest the way Chicago gets in late fall when there's nothing left to hide behind. The attorney meeting ran long. Coming back down to the street, she heard it through the cracked car window. Before she saw anything, a child's voice, small and completely certain. "But you promised, Daddy." "I know, Bug. I know." His voice was patient, not performed patience. Earned patience, the kind that comes from choosing, over and over, to be the steady thing when everything else is moving. "I will be there, right at the door. You won't even have to wait." "You won't forget?" Lily, just her name, containing everything. "I see you. I'm here. I will always come." Patricia had stopped walking on the sidewalk. She made herself move. Got in. He ended the call. "How old?" she asked. 6. Her name's Lily. "She sounds sure of you," Patricia said. "She's the one thing I haven't let down," he said. Then immediately, "Sorry, that's too much." "It's fine," she said, and she meant it. Which surprised her. Emily had been 6 once. One Saturday morning, she'd stood at Patricia's office door in her pajamas, holding a book, wanting to be read to. "Give me 20 minutes, Patricia had said. She hadn't come out for 3 hours. She still remembered Emily's face when she finally opened the door, not angry, not crying, just gone. Already somewhere else. Already learning at 6 years old the specific arithmetic of how much of her mother she could reasonably expect. Patricia had told herself she'd make it up to her. She was still making it up to her. 9 years of talk soon. "You said the one thing. You haven't let down," she said. "What's the other thing?" His thumb tapped the steering wheel. Once, twice, 3 times. the rhythm of someone deciding how much truth to tell. "I had a company," he said. "Past tense," she said. "Past tense," he confirmed. "Tell me," she said. He told her. And somewhere in the middle of it, somewhere between the second mortgage and the first hospital appointment, Patricia went very still, because she had heard this story before. Not the personal parts. The company. The technology, the pitch. She had read the analysis, all 46 pages, and she had said no. He had built it from nothing. Him and one partner. Structural monitoring systems for aging bridges, sensors, real-time data, predictive modeling. Catch the problem 6 months before it becomes a crisis. 47 employees at the peak, he said. Good people. What happened? My wife, Sarah, breast cancer, October 2020, stage 2, good prognosis. They said that right away, and I held onto it like a life raft. But good prognosis and easy treatment aren't the same thing. Chemo, radiation, a year of her body at war with itself. Him trying to be at the hospital enough, the office enough, home enough for Lily, who was 3 and didn't understand anything except that mommy was sick and daddy always looked tired. I tried to hold it all together. But there's a difference between a company running well because you built good systems and running well because you're there, paying attention, catching things before they become problems. He paused. Kind of like the bridges, Patricia said quietly. He glanced in the mirror, the look of someone who has just been seen accurately. Exactly like the bridges. 2 clients. Went quiet the same month. His best project manager took another offer. She needed certainty, and he couldn't give it. By the time Sarah finished treatment, 3 major contracts were gone, and the company was bleeding. So I made a call, I closed it, paid out what I could to the employees. Not enough, nowhere near enough, and I think about that. Then I started driving, hours that work for Sarah and Lily. When the shift ends, I go home. What was the company called? She asked. She already knew, had known for 3 minutes. Archer Bridge Systems, he said. Daniel, she said slowly. What's your last name? He glanced in the mirror. Archer, he said. Daniel Archer. She had the letter in her files. She hadn't looked at it in 4 years, but she knew every word. She had written it by hand because she believed a handwritten no was more honest than a typed one. Dear Mr. Archer, the technology is sound and the market need is real. At this time, we are not in a position to move forward. She had signed it, sealed it, moved on to the next file. She had not thought about Daniel Archer since. She thought about him now. About a man across a conference table in 2020 with 47. People's livelihoods sitting invisibly behind him. Asking someone to believe. She had made the correct call. She just hadn't known what it cost. She did not tell him she remembered the letter. Not yet. But here is what was happening inside her. Quietly, without permission, she was fighting herself. The familiar voice, practiced, reliable, 17 years sharp, was already composing. The rational response. This is not your responsibility. You made the right call. You cannot invest based on emotion. One Tuesday morning cannot rewrite your entire framework. That voice was loud, and then there was the other voice, quieter, older, sounding, if she was honest, a little like her mother, Patricia. When is the last time you did something because it was right, not just because it was correct? She looked out at the lake, gray and enormous and honest. Are you angry, she said, at the people who said no? I was, he said. For about 8-9 months I'd be driving and just run through names in my head, build these whole arguments, very convincing arguments. And now? Now I think they said no to a risk profile. A spreadsheet. The spreadsheet didn't have Sarah in it, didn't have Lily. How could they know? Some of them had enough information to wonder, she said carefully. Maybe, but you can't invest based on wondering. Why? He said. Did you know someone who said no? The longest silence of the morning. I said no, she said. The car went quiet in a way that had texture to it. He drove, Let it sit, deciding who he was going to be in the next 60 seconds. Hale and stern, he said. Not a question. Yes. You wrote the letter by hand. I did. I still have it. Something moved through her chest. I don't want an apology, he said. Clear, not cold, just clear. The way a person is clear when they've worked hard to get somewhere and aren't going back. You made a call. I've made peace with it. That's not what I was going to say, she said. He waited. The market is different now. Federal infrastructure funding is at a 20-year high. Municipal budgets have recovered. The tech you were building. There are 3 cities within 100 miles actively looking for exactly what Archer Bridge Systems was offering. Silence. I looked it up this morning, she said. Before I knew which company it was. His thumb had gone completely still on the wheel. Why would you do that? He said quietly. Because, she said, I've been doing this long enough to know when something in front of me is worth paying attention to. He dropped her at her building at 12:40. I'm going to have my assistant send you something, she said, hand on the door. Don't throw it away before you read it. She went upstairs, rescheduled her 12:30, first time in 9 years, without a medical reason. Sat at her desk, opened her laptop, closed it, reached into her bottom drawer, the one she hadn't opened in years, and found it in the back corner. A photo. Emily at 13, in front of a backyard tent, laughing the full, unguarded laugh of a kid who doesn't yet know she's going to have to get used to her mother not being there. Patricia held it for a long time. Then she picked up her phone and called her daughter. It rang twice. Mom? Surprised. Not cold. The way you're surprised by rain in a drought. Hey, baby, Patricia said. Her voice came out smaller than she intended. More honest. Are you okay? What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I got your text this morning about thinking of me today. She stopped. I've been saying talk soon for a long time. I want to actually do that. Talk. Now. If you have time. Mom. Emily's voice went soft in a way that cracked something open. I always have time for you. I've always had time for you. Patricia Hale pressed her hand over her mouth and cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just quietly, completely. The way you cry when you finally put down something heavy you've been carrying so long you forgot it wasn't supposed to be yours to carry alone. Emily stayed on the line, present, steady, like her mother had never taught her to be, and somehow she had learned it anyway. 3 days later, Patricia met Daniel at a coffee shop on Wabash. Not her office. A place with worn wooden tables and a window that looked out at the city at street level. Loud, human, real. He walked in, saw her, stopped for just a moment in the doorway. Then he sat down. She slid a thin folder across the table. 3 pages. A market overview, 2 municipal contacts in Ohio and Indiana, and a handwritten note at the back. He read it slowly. Daniel. In 2020, I made the right call with the wrong information. I'm not asking you to forget the letter. I'm asking you to consider that the person who sent it has been paying attention, and that what you built still matters. No pressure, no deadline. When you're ready, I'd like to be part of what comes next. Patricia, he set it down. Lily drew me a picture this morning. A lion in a tie. She said lions are brave. She's right, Patricia said. She told me, be the lion, Daddy. Patricia looked at this man, the tiredness in his face and the steadiness underneath it, and she said, what do you want to do? I want to rebuild it, he said, with the right partner this time. Then let's do that. They shook hands across a worn wooden table on a Friday in November while Chicago moved outside the window. Cold, indifferent, and today somehow exactly right. I want to talk to you for a second, not about business, about something closer. If you're in your 50s or 60s, if you've spent a lifetime being excellent at something that required a lot of you, there's a quiet question underneath this story. When did I last just call? Not for a reason, not to check something off, just to say, I was thinking about you. I have time. Tell me what's going on. Patricia had everything. The career, the reputation, the corner office. What cracked her open wasn't a boardroom. It was a man saying his daughter's name the way you say a name when you mean everything by it. Maybe you have a daughter in Portland, a son who moved away, a friend you keep meaning to call back. It's been months, and the longer it goes, the harder it feels, and someday becomes the word you say to avoid the weight of not yet. Daniel Archer lost almost everything and still knew exactly what he had. Patricia kept everything and couldn't say the same. The difference wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it was a choice, made daily, quietly, to show up for the people who needed him, even when it cost him something. You can make that choice today, not the grand gesture, just the phone call, the text back, the "Hey, I was thinking about you." Those are the things people remember, not the titles, not the achievements, the moments when someone chose them. You already know the name. You've known it this whole time. Call them, today, before the next thing pulls you somewhere else. And if this story moved something in you, share it. Someone in your life needs to hear it today. Subscribe for more stories like this. We'll be here next week, and it'll be worth your time.